Hi guys, this is Swapnil here. Today we're going to talk about a mock strategy, or more like I will give you an overview of what all things that comes into one's head. So if I talk about mocks, the purpose of mocks is quite similar to dress rehearsal before a play, or that practice matches, or we play on the venue before the actual match, the major tournament, right? These match, what they do is get acquainted us with the pitch, the ground environment, the ground conditions, the pitch conditions, the humidity. Okay, so and the same time, if I talk about dress rehearsal, what actually is the role of why we have a day before that particular dress rehearsal on your annual day itself? To have these number of dress rehearsal, it actually lets us know what all the areas I'm not able to perform, and what are the areas I need to work on. So they highlights us, is there any like voice modulation I need to change during any dialogue during a dress rehearsal, right? They tells us if that I would have added this particular emotion to this particular act, it would have been really helpful. So similarly, our mocks play the same role. They tell us what is that area you need to work on. If I talk about, they actually mimic the reality for us, and the reality is that we have only one shot to IP mat. Now, like the major tournament that we play on that final D-Day, the difference between major match, that final match between all the crowd, okay, is, and the league matches before the actual match, is the complexity, the pressure. Okay, the people tend to, if they are having having lot number of practice matches, people tend to have like, okay, the match is far away, and they don't get that serious for that particular practice moment, right? And when the real time comes, they get really under pressure. So that shows us that we need to have that complexity, that uncertainty, that time pressure over us while attempting a mock itself, so that you can prepare yourself mentally to sit for that particular 2 hours and attempt that paper in your own direction, not the direction that pressure has created in you. It actually tells us the distance that we need to travel, right? If I talk about, because people tend to give mocks with lot of casuality or lot seriousness, and they tend up getting lot hectic about how, like, and are not able to perform, and they are like, okay, I don't want to attempt any mock, I will give the paper. They are not able to optimally use the mocks. So what my suggestion is, divide your mocks into 2 segments. The first is experimental mocks, and the second one is the performance based. What actually mocks role players is measure the performance for us, right? So we need to know what we actually did on the day, right? And that's where the role of experimental mocks comes into play. In these ones, you don't need to be under that particular serious thought that this is the only paper, this is the only shot that I have, but you can always have a focus on learning. If I talk about number of mocks that you need to attempt, experimental mocks, I would suggest have 10 to 12, because what all things happens in experimental mocks, I'll highlight right now. The first part is create your own attempt strategy. If I talk about myself, when I used to prepare for JEE, or let's say any competitive exam, I used to have a round strategy to attempt mocks. What is a round strategy? That during the first 5 minutes, I used to read all the questions and used to pick the questions, particular questions, like let's say there are questions, I used to take least 10 seconds to read single question, and used to check if I know that particular question then and there, and I can solve that in a timeline of 30 seconds, because lot of questions people can do verbally itself, right? So if I know that I can solve that particular question then and there, I used to attempt it, and used to move on to the next question. This used to happen in the 5-minute timeline, that I also analyzes that which question I'm familiar but are lengthy to solve. So I used to mark it for review, and the questions that I don't know, I used to leave them, skip them completely. Now in the first round, I was able to solve 2 to 3 questions. I'm taking, let's say, an example of short answer section. So I'm able to solve 2 to 3 questions out of these 20 questions. So what I do the next part is, in the round 2, I am solving the familiar and the lengthy questions, And after solving the questions that I know, but had to solve on pen and paper for a minute, and never used to waste time to more than a 2 minute on a single question, right? And then used to do the round 3, the mock questions that were left. After each mock, you should have a certain realization that what is working for you and what is not. You checked that in a particular question you did gave 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So had that particular question more weightage? No, right? So you need to learn these things, make notes of all these things, learn, note down okay, this is working for me, this is not. Say the round strategy worked for me, say it didn't. Say you read all the questions and you got under pressure because you were not aware about maximum number of questions. So you have to experiment in your mocks itself. So try different strategies. After that, after attempting each mock, this works on both the mocks, that you analyze what all concepts you are lacking, is the foundation that you are lacking, and work on that. Okay, so have these particular 10 to 12 mocks to have experiment, not on the high score you are targeting, but on the learning, the particular area you lost, the where you should have delivered that particular dialogue. Okay, this will create a game plan in your head, a strategy to tackle the actual D-Day, to maintain that calmness entire D-Day. So create your course like wheel. Okay, when we drive a car, the steering wheel should be in your hand, not the car is making. Unless it's a Tesla, it's a different case. But if you are traveling, okay, it's not automatic. You have to take the steering wheel in your own hand. Don't let the paper drive you. You drive the direction. Okay, make your own direction. So have certain different number of ways. Try it by yourself. Okay, which things are working for me, which are not. Make note down of your scores as well. Don't need to focus on particularly mocks, ranks, or particularly that high score, but what are the areas you lagged behind, and have a gap of 6 to 5 days to work on that particular area. And if I talk about once you finished your 10 to 12 mocks and now there are only 3 to 4 weeks left for IPMAT, start with performance based mocks. What is role of performance based mocks? If I talk about what is the role of performance based mocks, it's basically I've already measured the ways I have to make changes in my attempts or the concepts or the learnings I've already done, and now I have to lift my score above. And also I would never recommend you to have lot number of mocks for performance based. Limit it to 5 to 6, because you need to have that seriousness I was talking about, that mindset that you are actually having this shot, this particular mock is the actual shot you have for your actual paper. Create that pressure, create that uncertainty over you that on that particular 2 hours, this is the only thing that I can do. This will create that, this will adapt you, make you acquainted with the time pressure. And having 5 to 6 mocks will be enough. Inserting a gap of 3 to 4 days between each mock is perfect. So that way you can lift your score while highlighting and stepwise working on score. Never think that in your first mock, let's say you in your experimental mocks you are able to reach 150 plus out of 400. Now in the 5-6 mocks, never target directly 200. If you are at the 156, target 165 and then 70 and then max 200. Okay, take that particular targets. Never have a big goal like of getting 50 marks all of a sudden more. That will not work. Okay, have a short goal. So stepwise working on the score is important, and then creating the mindset as I mentioned, because it's really vital for us to create that mindset so that we can actually play that match with full effort. Or I should say, I'm able to give that particular paper with the mindset that I thought of. So this is from my side. I'm able to give you a last tip from me, that always check solutions after attempt the particular mock. Always check what are the other ways I could have solved the question. And if the other mock test takers are not providing you that, then ACE IPM comes into play, because these mocks I have myself created. When I started the particular course for ACE IPM was working on the foundation. So in the lectures itself, I always highlight over having adaptive approaches, alternate approaches to solve a simple question. So in the mocks itself, I am providing solutions Like I have given a handwritten solution to solve a simple question. What is the general approach? What are the learnings you can take from the question? And the sidewise a shorter approach, so that you can solve the same question with a better and limited 30 or 40-second timeline. In most of the questions of ACE, IIP or mocks you will find. So today itself we have listed our free mock. So if you haven't checked it out yet, do check our website and book a free counseling for your preparation, or at least attempt the free mock that is available on the portal. And then if you like, then obviously let us help you in your journey with the preparation. So thank you. This is all from my side, and make sure you're learning some or the other things from this particular video. And if you like the whole ideas, thought process that I have particularly, then please do like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.